breed that I deal with, I had to go import. So that's how my story started with this Doberman game in 2010. I had to do my first bubble got popped when I bought my first boy from Hungary. So yeah, man. So um, I'm a father 3 times. I'm a dog owner, 4 dogs, 2 cats, 1 wife, 1 girlfriend. I mean, I'm talking about the girlfriend thing. 15 tenants. I do fire and arson forensics by day, entrepreneur, and I'm a dog animal lover. I'm a lover of animals, period, by life. And I do have 2 cats. Okay, so trust me, and they're good. They're some nice cats. So, but yeah, man, I love people who are enthusiastic about the animal species, more specifically the dog game, because I was telling people the other day. I said dogs do something that humans don't do, and
What's
they
that?
said, "What is it?" They stay consistent.
Mm.
I could be gone for 2 weeks, 2 years, 2 months, 2 hours, and my dog still greets me as if I just left 1 hour ago. I've never known a human to be consistent like that. They may have had a bad day at work. My mama boyfriend maybe got mad at him, right? But when my dog doesn't come to me in that same fashion, we know as dog owners there's something physically wrong with him because that ain't normal, right? So for me, eh, I have an affinity for animals. So yeah, that's my thing, man.
That's what's up.
That's what's up, man.
Vito, tell them about you.
I started, I bred my first litter of American Bulldogs in 1994, and I have not stopped since. And I scratched my head thinking, how can I be excited about this after all these years? Especially dealing with all these people, other breeders, customers. But the dogs, I'm always just motivated every day when I get up. When I look and see, think about different breedings, think about different ideas and different things that are going on with different puppies I'm raising. I really like it. American Bulldogs are kind of different. When I started, I actually, the last dog I had before American Bulldogs was a Doberman. His
Wow.
dad, his dad
That's
was,
interesting.
I think I bought him in the late 80s, like 87 or I can't remember exactly, but his dad was like the number 6 Doberman in the country. But I got him because his dad was like he was like an 80 big Doberman, like an 80-pound show Doberman. He just back then you never saw that.
Right.
Here in the United States in the 70s, you'd go to a specialty show, AKC Doberman Specialty Show, and there are a bunch of wealthy women that would come in polyester, gowns and gold, all kinds of gold necklaces, and big Doberman earrings, a big Doberman pendant, and you had to have a professional handler. And for me, they kind of ruined the breed because I think they thought they were Arabian horse breeders because they wanted little elegant looking female Dobermans. If you had a big, bulky Doberman, they didn't like it. But anyway, my last Doberman was Bravo. He broke my heart because I had to put him down at 3. At 2, he was diagnosed with this diabetes insipidus. I'd never heard of such a thing. And back then, medicine was like $350 a month, but
Right.
it didn't even work. But anyway, that got me. I'd always thought about different breeds of dogs, and I'd always looked at what they called back then rare breeds. American Bulldogs were in the book I bought in the 80s called The World of Fighting Dogs. And I always thought they were kind of a cool idea, and so then I tried one, and then I never thought I'd be a breeder, but then I thought, you know what, this is a raw breed. Like there's so many different variables and different types, and I just coming from Dobermans, I thought these hillbillies don't know what a good dog is because all the American Bulldogs back then were cowhawks. Just they didn't have very good, and the people that had them didn't realize that. They just thought, oh, the Bulldogs are supposed to turn out like that in the back, so they're steadier when they're weight pulled. And so I thought, man, I could make an impact, and I could really breed dogs with. Because a Doberman, you just don't see that. A Doberman, the worst structured Doberman was better structured than an American Bulldog back then. And that's kind of how I got into it, and I got hooked. And part of the attraction is that it was a newer breed back then, and there wasn't a clear, concise type. There still isn't. There still isn't now, but it's gone in all kinds of directions. Anyway, that's a challenge. That's what I love about the dogs.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Hey, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Vito, my trainer who has helped me title 4 of my dogs, his first dog that he put what it was called Schitzen then. His first dog that he titled was American Bulldog. His name is Al Benuelos.
Yeah, Al Benuelos. He titled the first
Yes.
American Bulldog Schitzen dogs. Yeah,
That's my trainer right now. That's the one he actually just put a BH on my Rottweiler Brutus. Yeah, me and Al go way back. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
BH, that's the behavior qualification, or can you explain that for people that don't know?
It's like the obedience part, right?
Right,
It's
the obedience. Yep.
Yes. This is you have to pass the obedience before you can go to the protection phase. So yeah.
Right. Obedience. Listen to that. Now pay attention to that, because it ain't just me that's feeling this way. This is instituted by the organization. Obedience before protection, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Before we start doing any tracking, before we start doing any scent work, before we start doing any seeking out the blinds, before we doing any bite work, you got to have that BH. So that's the instituted by the organizations, and that's one of the things that they do in the Schutzhund as a part of a measuring breed.
On and off leash, both.
Mm.
Yeah, you got to pass it on and off leash, and they got to do long downs while another dog's on the field doing their BH. So yeah, there's some distractions going on.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's rough for. There are a few breeders in American Bulldogs that still title and Schutzhund or IPO, but I think it's a little rough for Bulldogs. Bulldogs mature real slow, and some of the problem is when you start putting corrections, even slight corrections, they kind of get insulted, or they're just handler shy. They're like, oh, now you're correcting me. I don't want to do this anymore. Some of them you gotta wait.
I've seen some load up on a person. Hell, I had a Dobie named Bo. He was a return dog. People always getting dogs, exotic breeds. They get them Boreable Mastiffs. They get Caney Corsos because it's trendy, right? It's everybody getting them, and they cute when they're puppies. But then the game changed when they start pissing with their leg cocked up, right? And when you're trying to do corrections with a real correction prong, and he ain't ever been correct like that, and you ain't never established pack leader dominancy in the pack, he'll load up on you or shut down, one or the other. And I've seen one when he loads up, when he stiffed up for a minute, and I correct him again, he stiffed up again, and I got bit shit. And luckily I had a damn hoodie on, because he would have went down to the white meat.
Yeah, so man, talk about that, because a lot of people, this is one of the big problems that I'm seeing with dogs in general, and dogs and just across breeds, and in the American, just the public perspective of dogs. We're getting into these dogs and we get them for pets because it looks cool. And it's like, oh, we saw Scooby-Doo, or we saw Bluey or something on TV, or we saw Snoopy or something on TV, right? And so we like, man, that's the dog that I want, or a poodle, because we saw 101, whatever the case may be. And then they go out and get this dog, and then they're not prepared for this dog's behaviors, the tendencies. Talk about that. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that. And then but I like the fact that we have these standards and this measuring stick with the Schutzhund. We have nothing. That's in particular to the breed. So we're going to get into that some too. But talk about that though, getting the proper breed. So what's y'all thoughts on that?
I'll let Vito go first. He's got more seniority than me. Go ahead, V.
Oh, are you guys hearing me good?
Yeah, you coming in loud and clear.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are crackling up a little bit, but What was the question again? You were crackling up a little bit.
We was getting into, selecting the proper breed, the best breed, that ideal breed for your lifestyle, because a lot of people get into these dogs and then they like can't handle them. They get into it because it's a trending. And I speak to that a lot of my feelings and thoughts is I want to make sure that people understand what they're getting themselves into. When you get a Boerboel, you understand fully and completely what the dog has to offer, the natural behaviors, the tendencies. So I want people to understand, like, look, it's not the junkyard guard dog that's going to be chasing people down the street. Don't get misunderstood. This is more of a stay-at-home defender, things of that nature. Because so I take it at the time to educate people about how I feel that the things that's important that they should know. But talk about that a little bit though. What is the ideal lifestyle for your particular breed, for your particular client?
The problems I see.
In other words, who should buy a Bulldog? Who should buy a Doberman?
Somebody that's smarter than the ones I could get called on every day usually. Well, the problem I see, we talk about dogs coming up the leash, and we've had a lot of trouble with American Bulldogs. Of course, if you ask the average breeder, they go, "Oh, my dog's perfect." But maybe I don't know everything, but from what I see this a lot with guys. Even Mr. Johnson's a guy that is responsible for most of the seed stock in our breed. They didn't quite understand what a good temperament was. They thought a dog that growls was a badass. And a dog that growls is insecure most of the time, almost all the time. A dog when it growls is telling you, "Hey, get away, get away. Hey, you're making me uneasy. I'm warning you, get away."
Yeah, it's a defense mechanism.
Yeah, it's telling you, get away. I don't feel a real confident dog, a real badass dog. He don't growl because he's not afraid.
Nothing. He ain't saying nothing.
And if he's gonna bite you, he don't want to growl because he don't want you to get away. He wants to bite you. In American Bulldogs, I could tell you story after story after story. I don't know if Albanuelos was involved in this dog, but there was an American Bulldog in Ohio that these pet people had him. He's from a certain strain of these Johnson dogs, down from this dog called Rebel Rouser. Rebel Rouser was returned to Mr. Johnson because these people lived in New York City on the 5th floor, and the dog had bit several people. He jumped out the window and bit somebody on the road, on the sidewalk. And
jumped out the window. Hold on, man. Jumped out the window and then bit somebody on the sidewalk. What kind of dog was that?
A big American Bulldog. His registered name now is Johnson's Rebel Rouser. The people that had him, they called him Titan. Well, some of it could have been a little bit about the guys trying to half-ass train. Mr. Johnson said, "Oh, he had his friends jumping in off the fire escape with wiffle ball bats and whipping the puppy." But I don't know if I believe that, because I can trace it. I can trace it genetically. All his kids and grandkids, they have live bites, and for some reason, they want to kill men. They don't want to kill kids, and they don't want to kill women. They want to kill men. That Rebel Rouser, it was a long story, but he bit a guy on the elevator, and instead of them putting him down, they called Johnson and said, "We'll ship you the dog, we'll pay for it, but you got to sign this piece of paper that relieves us of all responsibility." Well, he got bred one time on Johnson's yard, and Johnson told me the vet had to come out and tranquilize him to pull the bitch out of the yard. And when they did, he went ape shit and just started ripping kennel fences, and he got out. And the story Johnson used to always tell us, he had one more gate and he was going to be out in the general public, and they shot him. He said, "Oh, had to shoot him twice." That's how tough he was. Well, anyway,
so you saying basically not for your average owner,
right? Well, his grandson, he produced in that first litter, he produced a dog called Peeler's Chief, and I had a Peeler's Chief son, and Peeler's Chief was bred to a Johnson female and produced this dog in Ohio that I was telling you about. And somebody came to cut the grass and forgot to put the dog away, and they came home and they found a sweatshirt with blood on it, and the guy went to the hospital because he got chomped. And so they did the same thing. Instead of putting the dog down, they sold him or gave him away to somebody. And he ended up with an old friend of mine that lived in California, this guy called Jose Lopez. And Buster, the dog's name was Buster. He's like a 120-pound American Bulldog. And he used to belong to this working club up there called Redwood American Bulldog Clubs. And I think Al Banuelos either decoyed or did stuff there. There's a bunch of, early on, and California was kind of a hotbed for the working American Bulldogs. So they took the dog to one of their drive sessions, working sessions. And so they tied him up to a post and had decoys coming at him confidently with the stick. And I guess I think the dog shut down. But I don't know if it was Al Banuelos or one of his other decoys. And they determined the dog was a fear biter. Yeah. You couldn't have told these people that he was a fear biter. That people don't realize, but a dog bites you out of fear, he's going to F you up bad. He's biting he thinks his life is on the line. He's terrified. And he's not joking around. He's fighting for real.
Man, that's how I fight. That's when I'm feeling like I'm getting into a situation. I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to hear from Gerald on this. But yeah, I'm the same way. And I feel like you got to do that with children too. Make them fight for their life. It kicks in another level of adrenaline. It takes them to a whole nother level. But I feel like that's important. What you think, Gerald?
That's loaded because
I bet it is for you.
It's loaded because I get a lot of granola plain yogurt people who are getting these working dogs, and I specifically import and breed Dobermans who have more working line championships than show lines. And I specifically emphasize for the active family. So everybody, man, us Americans, we're visual. We go by what it looks like. You don't give a shit about it. Skittish, don't even know what skittish is. We care about the big head, the big ears, the dark markings, the big chest. They're not even paying attention to the intangibles, right? I pay attention to the intangibles because I have a legacy to perpetuate with the dogs that I put out. Now, every dog I put out ain't going to be no rock star. My uncle said it best. He said, Gerald, it is scientifically proven that if you have 3 or more siblings, one is going to be an underachiever. Just, it is what it is. I got one of those, right? So with that being said, every puppy in every litter ain't going to be designed for work. But if you get a working bitch with working pedigree and a working male with working pedigree, you got a pretty good chance the dog going to have some kind of drive, whether it's ball drive, food drive, rag drive, some kind of drive, driving down the street. But that's all you need to do anything that's active. So I tell people, so listen, we don't do refunds. You can return the dog, but you ain't getting your money back.
Right.
And I try to educate them on, like a lot of people up north in Northern California, they do dock diving now. That's a hell of a good thing, right? And these Dobermans that I put out have competed, and they're excelling. And then you got some that do PSA, which is, I'm thinking about doing a PDC with my boy Titus.
PSA,
right?
Protection Sports of America.
Right.
Is that what it is, right?
Yeah, and the PDC is the entry-level protection, which is pretty simple because the whole protection phase on leash, even the carjacking scenario. So you got some kind of control.
Okay.
So I do ring sport and I do IGP, which was called, before then it was called IPO, before that was called Shih Tzu. But I try to let people know that if you're looking for a couch dog, get a Cocker Spaniel. Because this ain't gonna work. You ain't gonna have no grass in your backyard. Right. Your jacuzzi top on the top of your jacuzzi gonna be chewed up. You gotta keep these dogs active. And I get this all the time, man. I'm in LA, man. Okay, so they're like, oh, I take my dog running 4 miles a day. I said, dude, you got 2 legs. The dog's got 4.
Yeah.
And part of his DNA is a greyhound.
Yeah.
My dog runs with his mouth open because he loves this shit. Right? He's smiling. He runs with glee. And so, man, it's really hard, man, to, that's why most of the things that I post on my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, I post working shit like, obedience, protection, ball retrieval. That's huge for me, man. My dog's got to be retrieving the ball 4 months of age, and that's a part of a tool that I can use when I want to do protection work or I want to do obedience work, right? Al, he got one of my dogs named Cisco that I imported from Russia before they put the ban where AKC not allowing Russian dogs to be registered right now because of the war in the Ukraine and the bullshit.
Yeah.
And I said it on my Instagram. I said, after seeing what I saw, and I worked my boy with John Leverett over there, who had that show on Netflix called K9 Intervention. And I said, John, I think, and you've had enough dogs to know which one's showing all the good shit. And again, nothing's promised still, right? But when you start seeing those sparks, those lightning in the bottles, I'm like, this motherfucker gonna get his Malinois hell, because that's who we're really competing against in this sport. It's Malinois.
I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah.
Hey Jordan, let me get in one question for him, because he has a unique setup. He ain't got no bitches. It's all studs.
I seen that. I heard that. All stud dogs.
And what is the criteria for your studs, and where did they come from? I want you to hear this, bro.
Okay, so I'm not home enough to whelp litters. My wife is too busy to whelp litters. And anybody who's a breeder knows the first 2 weeks are critical. Mama can lay on them, mama can step on them, mama can eat them. Anything can go wrong. So I don't work from home. I work out in the field. So the criteria for me, for all my studs, because you got to remember, over there in Europe, you're not allowed to breed a dog unless the dog has some kind of titles. Now, a lot of times you see these puppy titles and these ZTPs or these best of shows. Those are titles. So you have to have titles on these dogs to be qualified to breed. Here in America, we could put 2 dogs together that's got AKC papers, and then we got a litter, right?
Oh, we gonna get into that.
Yeah. So for me, listen, for me to have a stud in my camp, I gotta see the mama and the father. I don't care about the daddy so much. I want to know what the mama got cracking.
Okay.
A lot of these dogs take after the mama. Let the truth be told. So both sides got to have.
Now, why you say that though?
It's just from breeding and from history that I've noticed that if you're trying to create a certain working line, you get a better opportunity if both parents are in working positions and working titles. A lot of times, like Americans, we get caught up on what the sire look like, how much the sire weighs.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, I can have a 120-pound Dobie, but the motherfucker's scared of his goddamn shadow.
What'd you say, Vito?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Dobermans I've been exposed to here for years were show Dobermans, and they kind of neutered them. But in the 70s, you had some dogs that it's like, no, you can't touch the dog without the owner being there and blah, blah, blah. They were more working type dogs. But like I said, in the 70s, they got so popular in the show ring, and everybody just bred them to be sweet and good show dogs. But it was a rougher dog early on. The American Bulldogs, they're all over the place. We have the same problem.
As far as
for how they look.
As far as the mom, though, that was the question. Like, how does that make?
Yeah.
That's a big part of it.
There's a reason why too. There's sex-linked chromosomes that come. The father gives the Y, and it's a boy, right? Well, the Y chromosome has a lot less information on it than the X. The mother always gives an X, and it's got a lot more information. Plus, she whelps them. She raises them. Yeah, I have a litter right now. I was a little iffy on the father. He's a good dog, but actually, I homed him. I sent him I sold him to somebody as a pet because I thought he's just got a pet temperament. Because I would try socialize him a little bit, and then you know how it is with a little puppy. And then I put him down on some new material. I'm like, okay, let's go. And he's like, I'm not moving. I'm scared. So I'm like, I don't want you. So, but I got him back because the guy got divorced and all kinds of stuff. And the dog's a whole lot better. So I bred him, and his hips are great, elbows are great, breathing's great. He's a good stable dog. He's not skittish, but he's just not as outgoing. So I bred him to his half sister, and she's the kind of bitch that's like, she'll get on your last nerve. She wags her whole body. She sees you and she can't be calm. She just wants to jump all over you and lick you, and she'll follow you anywhere. She's a great dog. And then, so I had 5 puppies. 2 puppies I thought were, they're decent, but I sold them in pet homes. And then I had the 2 girls I got at home right now. They will drive you nuts. Like they think they're Malinois. They'll hang from your pants. Anything they can get into, they're just busy.
Yeah.
So a lot of that I attribute to the mother, because she's just a affectionate, outgoing, aggressively sweet, but outgoing. Like her tail, I have to tape her tail. She bloodies it up because she wags it so much. So it's not always that way. Sometimes the father dominates. You know, genetics is like a roulette wheel, and anybody tells you they can predict every time is full of shit.
What about the mitochondrial DNA? What role does that play?
Well, it'll have. I think because of that X chromosome thing. I mean, if you're just talking about odds, if you're talking about the odds of the genetics coming from the father or the mother, on a male, it's going to come from the mother. It's not all going to come from the mother, but the odds are more because that X chromosome carries a shit ton of information.
Right.
Y chromosome doesn't carry as much. Now, a female will get X and X, so it can be split. She could favor more her dad genetically. It's not a hard, fast rule. Like everything in breeding is not. There's no hard, fast rule. Anybody tells you A plus B equals C has not bred that many dogs.
Right.
Because you could do breedings with Schützen titles 7 generations deep or whatever. Agility titles, show titles. And the 2 dogs are incredible and they produce garbage. And then you can get a dog that's, I didn't even want to breed the dog. And it's like, God dang, every time I breed this sucker, he breeds great pups or a higher percentage of great puppies. Yeah. So,
we call those when we got a stud like that, we call it he's proven because every stud can't be proven. I've seen some great dogs, great male dogs that what they put out is shit, and it's like a proven dog can breed to a shit dog and still come up with some nice dogs, man. Yeah. And that's another thing I struggle with when I come to, because I'm only a stud guy, so we talking the same language. You know what's up. You've been in the game. You've been doing it before I got out of college. You know what's up.
Right. So you probably evaluating that bitch, whoever you stud to. What do you do to approve the bitches you stud to, brother?
Well, unfortunately, man, like I said again, a lot of people are not. Only the avid breeders are like known Doberman breeders are going to breed to my males, knowing what the potential it puts out, right? But a lot of times, fortunately and unfortunately, I breed to, first of all, 100% European. They have to have all of the basic DNA genetic mutated disease tests, and they at least have to have the hips and elbows OFA. Now, I don't do that pre-certified shit. They got to be 2 years and over and get the full certification, because everybody know hips can go out before 2 years of age. So the bare minimum, I'm not too selective. They got to have full AKC. We're not going to breed dogs and you got limited, and you didn't know you got limited until we saw that pink ass AKC paper.
Yeah.
Right. So, man, I've always been the guy, man. Like, man, we grew up in the South. Joe. You know, bro. It's like, guys want to be like. They want to be one up, and they want to have the only thing you can't. They won't tell you where you got the yellow Corvette from. They don't want you to have the Corvette. Me, I'm like, yo, these dogs have short shelf lives. I want to share this shit with the world, right?
Especially when they're good.
Real, let me say something real quick while we on this subject, because a thought just crossed my mind. And one of the things that I like to get into is when you say what you just said, you're talking about I forgot what I was going to say.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, because it was something. It was something.
Your ass.
It was something. No, it was something vital though. It was something vital. When you start talking about what was you saying, bro?
I was saying about, most of the females that I breed to, even when I ship out chilled sperm, they're quality females, but they're not breeding for the workability. I mean, my dog sells these litters because everybody knows, even right now, if you Google Benedict Butcher and Lil Wayne music video, that big black Doberman is Casanova, right? So I steady always promote my dog. I show my studs at the early age of 3-4 months of age, rag work, ball drive, all the intelligence, the quickness that they can learn obedience. I show them from the time that I get them off the LAX airport till they're grown, right? So a lot of these breeders, they don't market their female. They just great pets. So my boy sells their litters, but their female are basically 80% of the females I breed to are a beautiful show line. No working. And if it's working, it's 3 generations back. Well, goddamn, that's less than 25% of the dog now, right? I don't do that. The great grandparents are champions. Hell,
yeah.
Listen, my great grandfather is a Frenchman. Do I look French? Right? I want to know what the parents are doing. Don't give me that 3-4 generation. By that time, they already gone.
Yeah.
And these people don't realize that, but they get bamboozled when they buy these dogs from champion bloodline. Yeah, champion from 3 generations ago. And so I just blessed them. Give me my $1,000 for 15 minutes of fun. Let's play with this.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, let me slide.
Hey, Gerald.
One second, Vito. One second. I want to squeeze this in right quick. Then we'll go to you. This is Lamont. He's supposed to have been on a show, but he's traveling with the girls, DFW, Lady Leopards. Y'all that know that Lamont is a coach, and he get those girls to the Junior Olympics every damn year. Damn year. So he says, Joe, ask the panel, why are they still doing dogs, even with the state of dogs in America? Money, love for the dog, love for the art, or simply because part of them is crazy as FUCK?
I can answer that one easily.
Yeah.
I got into this dog game for the love of the breed. I was already broke. I was going through bankruptcy, divorce, so I never got a Doberman with my last pennies importing to a breeder I don't know anything about, hoping that whatever the dollars I sent in euros, that I'm gonna get a great dog that put me on the map. So I definitely did it for the love of the animal and companionship. And that's why in this dog game, man, you probably spend more money than you make sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So I didn't do it for the money, and I still ain't doing it for the money. It keeps me vibrant. It keeps me live. It keeps me relevant. It keeps me busy. I need to have structure. This keeps me having structure. I gotta get up every morning, clean up dog shit in the kennel at 6 a.m. I gotta clean twice. I gotta feed the pup twice, the grown dog once. That's structure. That gives me purpose. It gives me a reason. So the money, it was never about the money.
Yeah, it got to be for the love of the dog.
Gotta be.
Or you'll be I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all getting offered dogs. You know what I mean? From all over the country. I know I got all over the country. They offloading these dogs. Because
ever since the last 2 years, I've had people call me and say, I got a really good puppy. He's 7 months old.
Isn't that weird?
Oh, wow. And they're like, I got his brothers and sisters too. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. And then
you think I'd want your dog?
Yeah,
I don't
then you
want
got
anybody else's dog.
you got some of these breeders, man. Do not take this the wrong way, but like with the mastiffs, the bigger dog, the chat, the conversation is different. You, we don't use terms like lock in and if I do business with you, you post me all on Instagram. Look, he just tapped in and locked in. No. We don't do all that. You know, but that you got breeders in people's inbox trying to sell another breeder a puppy right now. It's bad.
You know what's funny, man, and Vito, and you guys can chime in. You can always tell it's so easy just by common sense that who people who get into the dog for the love or for the money, and people who get in for the love has been doing that breed for many years, and they still love the first breed, even though they may get other breeds along the line, right? But people who get into this dog game for the money, they go with the breed that's making the money at that time. Now everybody's doing Frenchies, hairless Frenchies, furry Frenchies, micro bullies, macro bullies. All this, some of that shit ain't even AKC registered, and they switching to whatever sells the most. Me?
I think it's always been that way a little bit. We had a guy that was pretty prominent in the breed. This guy John Blackwell, and he's probably dead now, but he was in Oklahoma.
R.I.P. John Blackwell. R.I.P. to John Blackwell because he was in the Borbles too.
Yeah, he was in Amstaffs, Doggy Bordeaux, American Bulldogs. Then he went to Borbles. I don't know what other stuff he'd been into. Oh, he was in the English Mastiff, and it's
Bulldog.
I don't know for sure, but it's just like I think they follow the trend, whatever's hot. Because when American Bulldogs first came out, they're pretty rare, and then they came out with that Homeward Bound movie, and people were selling them. I'm getting $1,200 a puppy. I'm gonna be rich. There's a saying that if you want to be a $1 million dog breeder, you need to start out as a billionaire. Because
you're gonna lose your ass on the first year.
Yeah, I've done it for so long. I out of every litter, I probably sell 2 puppies or one or 2 puppies to either repeat customers or their neighbor across the street or somebody down the road. So I have a little bit of advantage that way. And I've just been doing it so long. I know, don't mess around. Just, you need to get these puppies that you don't want to keep, that hey, this one's not for me. Find it a home. Whether, sometimes I'd have to give one away. Or, a friend of a friend of a friend. I know they're good people, or sell it cheap. But, when I first started, it was like, I'm not selling a dog for $900 without papers. No way. I get $1,500 for these. I've gotten $10,000 for a dog. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can sit and wait for your money, and you got a 6-month-old puppy that's not socialized, and good luck trying to find him a home. It's going to be tough. So,
and you know what? The crazy part about it is the more the dogs cost, the more the expectation is of the person that buys them. If the dog shits different, if he barks different, they calling you. They ain't calling the vet first. And to me, it's like wow. Like I know I've heard of stories of guys selling Frenchies for $30,000, $40,000. These dogs can't even walk, man. They can't breathe good. They can't even give birth naturally. And I'm like, you selling them for? One guy got a hairless Frenchie who wants $40,000. Now, who wants a hairless Frenchie that you can't go out in the sun with? It's like you got to put suntan on the dog the whole time. And it's like, are they bullshitting us? Or are these dogs really selling for that?
All right.
Oh, breeding those little dogs, breeding those little bulldogs like that, you got to be a magician. You got to be a lot of these women, they stay up 24 hours. They tube feed them and do all this stuff and work for days and days to keep a puppy alive. And I'm just not. If the mama doesn't take care of my puppies and doesn't raise them, and I'm sorry. I provide a clean environment, good food, they're worm free, and I keep everything clean as I can. I keep them in air conditioning in my house. And if mama doesn't have the sense or doesn't think they should live, I'm not going to step in because I've been through all that before. And you might find out when a dog's 9 months old, his kidneys never developed, or something could go wrong. You just never know. I don't know, with Frenchies and English Bulldogs and Old English Bulldogs, and they all have to have C-sections, and most of them die. The mothers can't take care of them. I know they get a lot of money for them, but
Look what you spend getting to that point.
Yeah.
You know, all that upfront money. C-section ain't a couple of $100.
Right.
You know, TCI ain't $100. You know, it's like, wow, man. It's like, and then the dogs may die, and then you load it up with $3,000-4,000 in pre-pup sale, and now it's like bananas, man. So those are the people who in it for the money, you know, because somebody told them on their pyramid, get on my board, contribute to my board, get on my pyramid, and you'll make money. And it's like, nah, man, you watching a 30-second of a reel. It ain't even that way, you know.
Yeah.
And I really wish that people really think about getting into a breed for the love of that breed first. Then you'll never find it work. You'll never find it as work.
Right.
Never.
Speaking of mistakes, Lamont, welcome to the chat. Lamont kind of saved me from. Well, I don't mean it that way. Lamont kind of saved me from being a former Frenchie breeder. I said, man, I done fucked up. He said, let me go help you out. Let me go find some homes for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Lamont? How you doing?
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing, man?
What's up with bro? How you doing today?
Hey, man,
Olympics.
I wanted to do something for myself because I'm finna get off here because I got teenage girls to go feed for the last time tonight before they compete tomorrow. So I needed some man shit before it was all said and done.
yeah, I could dig it.
Yeah, how y'all doing, man?
Man, we good.
I've been doing I've been passing some good information. I've been listening. I've been listening as I've been working, so I appreciate that. I'm sure the viewers do too.
Oh yeah, man.
Your boy Doug is chiming in big time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's some heavy hitters in the chat tonight. God, dog from New Zealand, everywhere. Seen Old World, James Hatfield, everybody in the house tonight. Doug just showed up. That's what's up. Yeah. So
while we was on the subject of Frenchies, let me just say something. The way that the lifestyle of the American has changed, the way that we live globally has changed. A lot of the majority of us that have dogs as pets, they don't need a dog to go out and hunt. They don't need a dog to track down predators. They don't need a dog to track down potential thieves, right? They're not taking dogs and then doing patrols, right? So that's what, speaking to your history in Germany. We ain't got dogs on the farms hunting down bulls or herding up bulls 9 times out of 10, right? So we need the reason that you see dogs like the Frenchie has gained so much popularity and notoriety because it's a dog that doesn't do nothing, that just looks cool. And we're very visually oriented society, the way that we have. The way that things look tends to dictate the value. And because of that, it looks cool. This is a status symbol, and there's so much more to dogs than that. Yeah. And that's why we had came up with that question: who was the ideal owner? Because when you get into a serious working breed of dog, like a German, a Doberman, Europe is particularly the European variety. When you're talking about a Braveheart Bulldog, when you're talking about a Corsos, these dogs arrive with a purpose. They need something to do. I think this is what I wanted to allude to. Having a role, something for the dog to do, how important that is in order to have a successful relationship. And it has to go inside with the dog's natural instincts. The Frenchies and the bullies, they haven't been bred to do nothing because 9 times out of 10, we don't have a role for these dogs to play. I say that the Borbal in particular is the ideal family companion deterrent. So that's how I feel like about the Borbal, and I explain that to people that is getting a dog. This is the ideal role for this dog to play. So that just was my 2 cents. I just wanted to get that in before it had left my mind again.
Well, go ahead.
Those Borbals are the African American Bulldog. They're supposed to. There's a farm dog in Southern Africa.
Saying like an African.
It's kind of a parallel.
I see what you're saying. The way the words string together sound.
They had a different role, but they're supposed to be a farm dog.
Yeah, it's very
Or-
much like the Bulldog. I often compare them to the Bulldog. One of the reasons that draw me to the African Boerboel is the similarities between them and the
Did you
Bulldog,
work?
especially when you start talking about the varieties. When you start getting into the varieties of the Bulldogs, you got the Scott, the Johnson, the Painters, the different,
Yeah.
distinct
Just like the
strains.
Borbal. You got some Borbals that look houndy, some look Bulldog, some look Mastiff, some look huge Mastiff. Some of them
Just
are
like the
gigantic.
just like the
Adding on to
Bulldog, though. They arrived there from purpose, though.
right, adding on to what you were saying, Jordan. When it comes to different breeds, especially like we see an influx of the smaller breeds, kind of not necessarily taking over, but becoming more popular. Number one, we're running out of space. You got a lot of apartments. You got a lot of living situations that homes are on top of homes, and lofts and those kind of things. So they don't have a lot of space, and those smaller dogs become convenient to put on a leash, walk them through the elevator, and that type of situation. But to piggyback off what you said, I feel like no matter what breed it is, it starts with us as the breeder of what we decide to put out to the public, put in family homes. If we don't have any standards ourselves, or if we're constantly flip flopping and jumping from here, jumping to there, well, this guy in California, he got this big male, and I'm gonna breed with him, and then I got a guy over in Florida that got a pretty female. I'm gonna get a puppy off of her, and I'm gonna mismatch. And at the end of the day, the person that's suffering is their family that we sending that dog to because we haven't did our due diligence to actually work that dog, see the parents, and see if the parents work, see if the grandparents work. Um, it was a discussion the other day about importing versus getting something local in the United States. Me myself, I'm not a big importer, um, simply because I can't do the research on the grandparents, great grandparents. And when I say the research, I mean see them for myself, put my hands on them, and so on and so on. There are some great breeders overseas that import great dogs. But I know an old man said to me one day, he said, "Hey, Lamont, if you were breeding over here, would you send your best dogs to Australia?" I said, "Hell no." He said, "Exactly." He said, "So why would they send you their best?"
They will
And now
never
they
see
don't
the
have,
best.
they'll never send you their best.
No.
But at the end of the day, I don't want to discredit them because Mr. Jura, I think you got some great dogs. You said from importing, but that's what I stand on. I want to make sure that I got the best in my yard. And Joe will tell you, I'm gonna let you see what I want you to see,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
what I don't want you to see, you ain't gonna see until it's time for me to let you see it. But it starts with us as breeders making sure that we check all our boxes. Sometimes we hit a home run, a grand slam. Sometimes we don't. But standing behind it, whether you do or don't, that's kind of where we could help when it comes to where we see the direction of all dogs going. Is be able to handle ourselves as breeders or trainers or whichever label you want to give yourself. Just standing on it and making sure that people are getting what your word said they will be getting.
I know
Yeah,
the problem that I run into that, even though I import my males most of the time, the problem is that I would love to breed to a superior female in the
Hmm.
United States, but the people who I breed to, they don't know what they got. And I don't want to be the one to do tests on their dogs.
Hmm.
I don't want to flip a proverbial switch on, and now these people can't turn that switch off.
Right.
So it's really hard to find to find a good quality bitch as far as aesthetics. I can see those all day, but me, I gotta know what can
What
he
that
do.
motor is.
Boom.
What that
I don't,
motor is.
dude. I don't. Listen, I have a Grand National, right? I've had it
Yeah.
for almost 20 years. I know what it can do, and when I
Hmm.
want to get on it, it'll go. but I'm not
Mm-hmm.
buying a Corvette with no V6 engine. It's good.
Yeah.
I want to be able to get on it when I want to get on it. I want to be able to do protection when I want to do protection. I want to be able to shut them on and shut them off. I want to be socialized, go to Home Depot, hear all the noise, hear all the people, carts, and the pipes hitting the ground. I want him to be balanced. But the females that I breed to, there's no temperament test. We don't know what they got. So it's these people out here are breeding for looks,
Right.
not for the intangibles. And that's the problem I run into a lot, man.
Let me say something real quick though, because we toss that word breeder around like a football. It's not everybody ain't a breeder just because you producing dogs.
Amen.
And I think that's one of the distinctions that need to be made. Everybody that having puppies is not a breeder. A breeder, when you start to identify yourself as a breeder, that means that you have a targeted goal and you're trying to produce something very specific, right? You're trying to recreate something or improve better than the last generation. A lot of times people feel like, oh yeah, I'm a breeder because I'm trying to put this big head on that dog. That dog got a big head. Look at the grandfather, it's a Miyagi son, and then it's a so on and so forth. That don't mean nothing to me, right? Tell me about when you say you a breeder. We need to start giving these words real definitions and so people can understand. When you say that you a breeder, that means that you're trying to develop something very specific.
You know what? You know what's interesting is when Vito was talking about he was talking about how one of the dogs bred to his half sister or something like that, and then somebody chimed in and said that's inbreeding. I said these motherfuckers don't know what inbreeding is.
Yep.
They obviously they don't know what line breeding is. They don't
Yep.
know what AKC allows, and they don't know that real breeders would do. Dude, if you get dogs, if you get like my boy got a South African Boer Mastiff, South African Boer Mastiff, big motherfucker named Chopper, like 30 inches to the wither, all that. But if you look at the pedigree, sometimes the father is on both sides, right?
Oh yeah.
But here in America, oh my God, you're breeding the father to
Yeah.
his daughter. I'm like, dude, we're breeding for a certain thing, whether it's dark pigmentation or great top line and bottom line or prey drive. And
Right.
you get these granola people, man, and start tripping like, dude, know what inbreeding is and know what line breeding is. Then we talk some business. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, we don't have a general working knowledge of breeding. That's not something that's readily taught in the schools because we being misinformed. Right. We got to remember a lot of the breeds that we import from Europe, Germany, those dogs have it's a government sanctioned type of breeding where these dogs been developed over generations where they have breed societies or breed whatever. Like you said, there's qualifications. You can't just breed dogs in Germany without having these qualifications.
Right.
Whereas here we producing dogs for pets, where they produce dogs for problems. They produce dogs to arrive at solutions. This dog needs to be able to patrol. This dog needs to be able to seek out and find people. These dogs here in the United States, we being bred for pets. This dog just need to be able to be cool and just help me just be a dog, just be an ornament, and so to speak. So that is a fundamental way that I feel like one of the beauties of the shows and the things that we doing is we are educating people to understand. Look, when you get a dog, it's like it's a pastime. It's something that is going to require your time. It's something that you need to be involved with on a regular basis. And if you don't have that, it ain't something that you just get to be cool, to look good. It ain't like a car or shoes or the guys that like to dress up fancy. It's specifically to arrive at a purpose. We trying to, and I think that one of the things that I like to do with this show, with these platforms, is make sure that we putting it out there. Look, let's have some way that we can measure and we can compete. So not necessarily competing, trying to beat one another, but where we can say measure value. Because a lot of what's going on with these titles, like the BH, the Schutzhund AD, or whatever, the Schutzhund B1, and the different levels of titles, and the championship or grand champion, whether you're in the show's ring or whatever, it's about assessing value and placing a value on a dog and being able to say my dog is worth more, or my dog is worth this because it's able to accomplish these goals and I can breed dogs like this. And we just done got away from the naturalness of dogs. We just got dogs for pets. That's all we're trying to do is produce pets.
That's a good
Hey,
point.
Joe, can I say one thing real quick before I get off here?
Okay.
One thing I hear when we come on this, and it's giving a lot of credit to overseas. It's giving a lot of credit to the way they do things, and they do things lined up for purpose. And in America, we don't. We lag on that. And I'm gonna just say this: we're not there. We don't know the problems that they have. We know the problems that we have here, but I can tell you, I know enough people overseas that do dogs. They're having the same issues that we're having. Human nature is human nature. And I don't want to discredit the people that are here, like Mr. Gerald, Mr. Vito, myself, and some others that we put our goddamn face in the dirt. When we say we're going to work, we're going to work. And we got breeders over here. We got trainers over here. We got people over here that just simply do dogs and don't have no damn title. That's put in the work, the time, and they do it right. They do it hard.
True.
So I never want to discredit where we are, because at the end of the day, when you get a dog from overseas and he's been bred and you're 7 generations from when that dog came over, that's our work. That's our work that we put forth to not only, and when I say it this,
hold on, bro.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
My fault,
yeah,
bro.
so no, Jordan, I'm not going against what you were saying. I'm definitely not. But,
no, because I was speaking because he says he only breeds the European stock.
Yeah, I got it.
A point that only deal with, and it's a reason for that. So maybe we can get you to explain why you say that, because it's a levels to dogs.
Right there. This one right here. So when you take a dog that has came over, say 20 years ago, and he was an import, and he's been bred over here, when he lands in the hands of a great breeder, okay, their goal every time they breed that dog is to clean him up and to continue to make that line better. Okay. So if that dog was here 20 years ago, what they're producing now should be better than what that dog was. Oh, excuse me, y'all. Yeah. It should be better than what that dog is. I have semen that is 20 years old that's from a great dog. And the people say, well, why don't you use that semen? Because from 20 years ago, I bred to breed better. I wanted to improve on the lines that I got 20 years ago. So why would I necessarily go back and bring a 20-year-old problem back in if I've been working my ass off to clean up that problem? Okay. Unless something happened and I needed to tighten it back up and I wanted to bring some things in. So I'm not saying that bringing a dog over as an import is a bad thing. What I'm saying is if it's a line that's been here, that line should have been already worked, bred to be stronger than when it came over here.
That's a good point, Lamont, because Vito dropped one of the most important videos on my channel that people kind of sleeping on, and it's called Selection. Me, you, Jordan, everybody else might select for different things off that same import, and 20 years now it'll be different.
That's right. Absolutely. Because he might go for the performance. I might go for the size.
Right.
Gerald might go for the temperament. We all have different things that we truly target because usually it fits us and it fits our purpose. Okay. So I don't take a Corso, as well as I do, Joe, that can't do no work. If that sucker's lazy, slow, big, and beautiful, he ain't for me. I don't care how good he look. I don't care how much I can make off of him for a stud fee and so on and so on. Joe will tell you I send him off quick because my day is consumed with work. And he has to be able to fit in what I do on a day-to-day basis and what I'm putting out and what I want my lines to represent. So that's why I said I don't want to discredit the breeders here that are truly doing the work. And they're not only doing it for themselves, they're producing dogs that are falling in people's hands who are also workers, trainers, breeders, and they're continuing a strong, healthy, productive line year in and year out from generation to generation. And I
Right.
just think sometimes we have to pat ourselves on the back as well as giving credit where credit is due from, others that have, had some lines that were brought over that give us some foundations within ourselves.
Before you go, let me slide this one in because he's asking if you kennel blind about a 20. He said, "How do you know you're not kennel blind? The fact that the dog's not good is at 20." But this is the other question.
Right.
I get what Lamont's saying, but if that dog was so great and you use him to make a line for the last 20 years, why not develop a second line off of it to outcross to also how
As I said, unless I need to bring him back to tighten some things up. I never said I wouldn't use it. I said that if I needed it and I ran into a problem, and if you've been breeding long enough, you damn sure gonna run into a problem at some point. Then that's when I would, back to that word selection. If I needed it, I would use it. But at the same time, and I think, Joe, you know which line I'm talking about and who I'm talking about,
But see,
right?
that's the thing, Lamont, because like some breeders breed off a dog. You always tell us it's okay to breed off that dog, but make a better version of him, breed forward.
Yeah. So to answer his question, I'm never kennel blind. I got probably 55 to 60 dogs. I can tell you what's wrong with damn near every one of them because I'm not kennel blind. And that's probably one of the best things that I do on a day-to-day basis is find flaws not only in other people's dogs, but my dogs as well. Because I feel when you are selective that way, you can clean up some things, you can fix some things, and you can better it and move forward with it.
Let me say something real quick, because you had alluded to the import and fact, and I don't want to discredit nobody that's doing their thing here in the United States, because we do got some good breeders here. But I was speaking to in general, and predominantly the ideology is that the working dog, the working class of dog, tends to come from Europe because they have been derived, they have selected them for those purposes. When you're talking about working dog breeds in a Shetson, American sports, or whatever, PSA, IP, or whatever, they tend to put a higher value on the European stock versus the American stock. So that's why I mentioned it, because of the way that we select dogs. Never could take away none of the hard work that's been that the American breeders is doing. But in general, a lot of times, and again, going back to what the brother has said about his dogs, he tends to favor the European stock.
Right.
So it's not taking nothing away, but we have to recognize the fact that in general, in speaking terms, the way that because of the way that the history of in Europe and Germany, the way that the dogs have been selected, the purposes that they have been selected for, we arrive at a totally different strand of the same dogs.
I was just letting you know we made it.
I'm sorry, that was one of my girls.
It's all good. I'm glad that they made it safe.
I'm sorry, girl.
I'm glad they made it safe. But what I'm saying is the reason that the dog have a different value is because of the selection process that they use to pick certain dogs. Remember, this is the dogs played an active role in World War II or World War III or whatever. You could do the history, but they was militarized strands of dogs. So you're talking about German Shepherds being actively involved in the military. Same thing with work, Rottweilers. Anything coming up out of Germany for working stock got roots in the military. That's just a fact. So
Gerald, it's not to cut you off, Jordan, I'm so sorry.
No, you good.
Gerald,
you good.
Gerald, can you answer this for me or help me out on this? Because I think when we get on these panels and we talk about working dogs, we get kind of tunnel vision and we only gear towards sports. We don't talk about, when we say working dogs, a dog on the farm, that same Doberman that you love being put on a farm and learning how to work cattle.
Pardon me, y'all. Pardon me.
work horses or do things naturally that most families will do with that dog. We talk about things like shitting and IPOs and PSAs and those kind of things. We know for a fact that we take 10 people, you might get one that will do it. And he probably won't do it for long. He'll do it long enough to learn how to do it and then be able to say he can do it. But I think what people lose focus on is what can the dog do naturally when it comes to everyday activities of a family, or whether they're on a farm, whether they're on, in a neighborhood. What are these dogs being able to do naturally? And I think what people get confused is when they do become a breeder. If I send a dog and, oh, Gerald got him doing PSA. He got this title, that title, that title. I got a proven line. No, what if you had a litter of 10 and one went to Gerald and he did great work with him, and the other 9 were bullshit? How is it a proven line? Because the numbers don't add up.
Right.
But if I took 9 and they went to a home and they were successful and they showed the characteristics and the traits that I'm supposed to be putting out depending on the breed that I have, and Gerald said, well, Lamont, damn, I couldn't use him, man. He ain't geared towards bite work. He did great on his obedience. He did great on his socialization. I can take his ass anywhere. He just wasn't a biting dog for sport. But the rest of the litter are successful. Now I can start to truly gauge what I'm putting out. And I think that's where so many people now, the world of YouTube and videos, quick 20-second videos, and flash this and flash that. And it's getting misconstrued because the numbers aren't truly being looked at as far as what are you really putting out in a line. Mr. Vito, what you think?
My breed might be a little different. I've judged shows, a bunch of shows in Germany, so I kind of have a little insight on Germans. And for instance, one of the first shows, they said, Mr. Vito, please, could you do a temperament? We want you to set up a temperament test. I'm like, okay. I've done the ATTS test or whatever it was, American Temperament Test Society. So I kind of set up a little thing, but I'm American. I'm just kind of like, I'm telling them, we'll do this, or maybe we'll do this. And my friend pulled me aside. She goes, no, you don't understand. Germans, we have to have rules. We have to know exactly, or these people are all going to freak out. And so Germans are just a little more regimented about stuff. They have rules. Like in Germany right now, do you know it's against the law for you to have a dog crate in your house? Your dog cannot spend the day in a crate in Germany. I mean, you could, if nobody comes over and sees it, you're fine. Well, when I was there, the last couple times I was there, they would have rules. If your dog lived outside, it had to have like a shed kennel combination deal. It has to be built a certain way. And if the dog barks, the cops will come and they'll take your dog away. So they have a different regimented deal. And maybe Doberman Shepherds, Malinois, Dutch Shepherds, those traditional sport dogs, maybe they have it's a little different here in the United States, and it's different there as far as an appeal, a marketing appeal. But like over there, they have a Schützen field, like we have ball diamonds. They have them everywhere. They have a soccer field, and then it also works as like their Schützen field. They have them everywhere, and they have. I mean, it's just like almost like a national pastime compared to what. Here in the United States, what is it? It's a very small percentage of people that do that. So when people buy American Bulldogs, or I imagine Connie Corsos, Borbles, dogs are not traditional sport dogs here in the United States. I think that people just go for the look, period. I want the big head, I want this, I want that. So you kind of got to strike a balance. Not that you should ever breed purely for the whim of puppy buyers, but if you have a litter of 8 puppies, you're not going to keep them all, and you're sure not going to find 8 working homes.
Right.
Like with my breed, you might find hog hunters, but they want you to gift them the dog or give it to them for $500.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
it's a different deal. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to strike a balance. It used to piss me off. I used to get so pissed off when people would call me and says, I want a dog with these markings. I want a head that's 30 inches. I want a muzzle that's 2 inches long. I want the chin to be wide, this and that. I'm like, you just want a giant English bulldog. That's all you want. Yeah, that'd be cool. But I'm like, that's not the breed. That's not what the breed should be. So I probably made peace with it about 15 years ago. And I thought, you know what? People want a certain color. They like certain colors, trendy colors, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I can manipulate a good dog to throw a certain color every once in a while. So whatever. So people are motivated by looks. It's like they did a study once that it may sound cruel, but like mothers go over good-looking babies more than they do ugly babies. We're a visual society, and although it might be different in Dobermans, might be different in German Shepherds and Rottweilers because it's a sport breed. But I imagine even the people here in the United States that buy them, they're not going to do shit. So they're not going to do any of that stuff.
Right.
They just want to say, "Hey, my dog comes from working stuff." In fact, and then they're going to complain when the dog hears everything, and they're like, "Why doesn't Snoopy just sit on the couch and quit being a chair?" You know,
Yeah.
I get that with American Bulldog. I get people I sell dogs to in big cities, and I'll tell them, "Now look, this dog needs a lot of exercise, walk. Oh, I walk, I do this, I do that." Well, and I said, but you can't go to dog parks. You can't let this dog off the leash around other male dogs. If somebody's going to smart off to him, and he's going to snap his neck, and he's going to hurt the dog. And I get that all the time. I get people to call back. Oh, he got into a fight. I took the dog to daycare, and they put him with the adults, and now he hurt a dog. It cost me $500. Do you think he's going crazy? I'm like, no, you bought a bulldog. You didn't buy a golden retriever. You bought a bulldog. Have you ever heard the history of a bulldog? It's a gladiator breed. But that's just the way it is. That's the way people are. You gotta find a balance. I myself, I breed for myself, and I have certain goals that I want to get. I started out conformation. I started out with hips and elbows, blah blah blah. Now I'm to the point where I'm trying to solve this issue with the breathing with the American Bulldogs. So, but the average Joe, you tell them, hey, my dogs breathe good. Like, oh, I know they're just buying it because it looks cool.
Yeah. So Lamont, to answer your question. So to answer your question, I would say 95 to 98% of the people who breed to my male, who sell the puppies, do not do any protection work.
I believe
That's guaranteed, because first of all,
I believe
all those sports cost money.
Yeah.
Every day. Every time you show up. Yeah.
Al's charging me $12,000 just for a BH. Let's
Right.
play with this, right?
Right.
So, but I think what I let people know is that my dog has the ability to adapt in any, and I always said before you came on, I said active household. So let's say the people want to do dock diving. Let's say mostly people live on ranches, 2 and 3 acres, where they just want a dog to cover ground, compound guarding or herding. But my dogs have to have some kind of something that triggers his drive. You trigger that drive, then you can trigger that training. If the dog has no food drive, has no ball drive, has no rag drive, then you're going to have a dog that's going to be a really great, large, oversized kitten.
Right.
So for the most part, and when I say I breed to nothing but a Europeans, trust me, bro, it's a lot of people in the United States that have imported or that they have 100% European. And the reason why I breed to 100% European is because of the Z factor. The Z factor is what creates blues, whites, fawns, Isabellas. I don't deal with that shit. That shit come with skin issues, photosynthesis issues, skittishness. That shit is genetic. And I don't want my name associated to none of that. And most of that, if not all of it, is an American bloodline where we Americans have fucked up the dog. And,
Yeah.
from the 70s, where the dog was solid, to now we got whites and off whites. Dog can't even look straight into the sun because his eyes are like this the whole time. So for me, I always try to emphasize going to an active home, whether that's running or you live in New York and you take your dog to that park over there, and the dog has to have some kind of motivation that clicks to make him do what that family want him to do. Now, if it's personal protection, let's play with it. And I said at the beginning of the show, I said, listen, I told the staff here, I told the guests here today and the two hosts, I said, my uncle told me something that was really, 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 really important. And I had to think about it. He said, Gerald, if you have 3 or more siblings, one is going to be an underachiever, right? So I don't expect the whole litter or most of the litter to be a rock star or have the ability to adapt in that particular lifestyle. But I try to make sure that I try to get that extra DNA. So if they want to do something with it, they have the ability. Now, will they be protection dogs?
Let me ask you, let me stick on this because since you've done a lot of importation. With the new CDC guidelines, how do you think that's going to play a role in the future for people? Because I know we got a lot of people here to do Malinois. They ship them from overseas, police dogs and stuff like that. What's your thoughts on it, Gerald?
Hey guys, before you answer, I'm gonna say good night to y'all, man. I appreciate you, Joe.
Okay,
Y'all be good.
Lamont, man, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming, man.
All right, LA.
All right, boss.
All right, take it easy.
Okay.
I will say this, and I think I know why CDC put that long, that extended time for dogs. I think because the Russian Europeans have sent over a lot of sick ass dogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a double negative for that. Number one, you're gonna try to bond with a dog that's been 6 months old, and that's been knowing nothing but the breeder the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, the dog has developed bad imprinting that you're gonna have to try to correct by putting some pressure on him or letting him do what he got to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number three is with the Dobie, it's a little bit different because certain parts of Europe have banned cropping and docking.
Yep.
Okay, so now if you get a dog out of a certain part of Eastern Europe that bans cropping and docking, you can say fuck that on getting the ears cropped when you come to the United States, because if a dog's 6 months old and trying to get his ears cropped where he can train him to stand up, it ain't happening. You can get the tails docked, you can get his leg removed, you can even get his dew claws removed, because they don't remove dew claws over there because they use them for grabbing. But it's a people in the Doberman community are stocking up. Like, yo, we're gonna start creating our own shit because the restrictions is really 6 months for a dog to get here, man. Do you know how much the shipping's gonna be? Because now you got to get a crate that can't touch the head, and they're going by weight.
Yeah.
And then the breeder's gonna
$200
charge you to keep them.
Yeah.
The breeder gonna charge you 4 extra months.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like what costs the average dog for Dobermans is about $3,500. So euros, you're looking at $4,100 because they want the shit in euros. Our dollar is weaker than the euro. So you're looking at just that. That's not including they may have to drive 200 miles to drop the dog off at a hub. They're gonna charge for that. That's not including the shipping one way plus a crate, and the crate got to be so goddamn big that the dog head can't touch the top.
Right.
Now you're looking at $8,000 for a dog that may not pan out. You got a 50% chance now. Because I've imported dogs. Don't get it fucked up. I've imported dogs.
Me too.
And in the first 5-6 months, he ain't cutting it. I give his ass away to a home that fits his purpose.
Right. Right.
Because I always say this, and I say this all the time, Vito and Joe and you guys. I say, listen, Jordan, I say, I paid child support for 18 years. Correction, 18 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's no way I'm going to have a grown-ass dog that poops more than me, eats more than me, go to the vet more than I go to the doctor more than me, and you don't contribute to the household? No, dog, gotta go. The longer I keep this dog, the more money I'm losing. There's so many guys in this Doberman game that keeps the dog beyond when they figure out this dog ain't for them. That I know for a fact that they probably got dogs off of me or other breeders, and they want to make the same amount of money back that they bought the dog for. I said, no, bro, you got to take an L.
Yeah.
You already losing. So
You
this
might
guy,
have to give it away.
yeah, man, it was like this one guy. This one guy, I'll mention his name, but he totally fucking pissed me off and blew my time because it's a dog that's off of my other dog that passed away. He said, yeah, man, I paid $3,000 for him. You think I can get it? I said, well, bring him over to Sykesville over there, South Bay, Malinois, because Sykes is huge over here. That's his name, Sykes. We'll call him Donnell. His real name is Donnell, government name.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yo, come on, let's Sykes check him out because Larry Hansen, one of the best female trainers in California, put the foundation in him. I said, bring him over. Let's see what's going on with him, right? And the dog prevailed. Dog's like 2.5, 3 years old. I said, bro, be honest with you. You didn't even know what you got until Sykes tapped into the dog and show you what the dog was already made of when Larry Hansen, female Larry Hansen, put into the dog as far as obedience training, right? And he's like, I got to get 3,000. I said, dude, you're gonna be asking for that 6 months from now, another year from now. Now the dog gonna be 4.5, 5 years old. You're not gonna get what you paid for. This is like buying a car, bro. Whatever you paid for it brand new, you ain't getting that shit back when you try to resell it a year or two. It depreciates. Now, if that dog has a title, he been in the AKC Westminster Dog Show, then
That's different.
That's different. But then you
would say that. Say that again, but that's different.
Yeah, if the dog been in the AKC Westminster Dog Show and he's like best of show or he's in second position. First of all, you ain't selling no dog for $3,000. That's just not happening. But this dog has not been proven, has had no genetic defect, genetic testing done. Your hips and elbows haven't been. We don't know if they're fair or bad or poor. And you want what you put into it, bruh. You gonna sit on that dog.
Yeah.
So you know, those people, man, I don't even like wasting my time talking to them because they obviously think they're gonna get what they put into the dog. Dude, you already lost 6 months ago when you spent all this money on dog food, spent all this money on boarding, spent all this money on vet care. You already a G into the game, bro.
Yeah,
you ain't gonna get that back.
So that's and I think that's a good thing about the CDC guidelines because now that eliminates the Rudy Poos that's just getting dogs to be able to say, yeah, I imported a dog. This is for
as a selling point. Yeah, you're right, Jordan.
Yeah, as a selling point, it's for the serious dog enthusiast, for the serious dog breeder. You bringing in something that it's got to be worth your while. It's got to be worth your time.
And you got to have a good relationship with that breeder, man.
Yeah, and it goes all back to assessing value, establishing value, right? And because of the way that the dogs, like Vito was saying, that over there in Germany, it's kind of like a pastime. They got shut sun fields where they just hang out, and this is what they do on the weekends. Like people come out and hang out and play soccer and play basketball or whatever. And I think that's something that we got to use our platforms for to kind of establish here in the United States. Look, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. We got to have some ways to compete or establish value and able to, like Gerald was saying, proven. Yeah, this is what my dog is able to do. You selecting the dog for a purpose. I'm getting this dog because this is what I needed to do. And then I'm going to be able to say, well, my dog is able to do it better or to a certain level or to a certain degree versus other dogs. But, you know, that's where I feel like could be one of our goals to and further evolve the way that the dog is being, dogs in general, Connie Corsos, Dobermans, American Bulldogs, Borbos, all of the dogs in the United States, because we just got dogs for pets.
Hey Jordan, let's ask him. Let's ask him the number one question on the pod. Can a working dog show Gerald and Vito?
I'll let Vito go first.
What's so hard about showing? Can a working dog gate around the left-hand circle? Sure. I was going to say, you know, the reason why those CDC guidelines came up, I heard this and I believe it's true. There was an organization for the last 5-6 years here in the United States. These, I should say women. I don't know for sure that they're women, but I think they're women. They were bringing dogs from Puerto Rico, street dogs from Puerto Rico. They get them into Miami. I know this is true because a friend of mine used to have a transporter business, and she'd pick up a van full of these scraggly butts off the streets in Puerto Rico. She'd drive across the United States and drop them off at all these rescues all the way to California. And some of those dogs brought in some funky shit, some weird disease or something. And I guess it spread. Remember, there was something going on, a weird form of parvo or something, and they think it came from those Puerto Rican street dogs. So the fur mamas ruined it for us.
Yeah.
It was a parvo that swept through. I remember, was it 2023? Yeah, or some maybe
Some weird. I think they linked that to some
went
dog.
to Michigan and tore it up. With some kind of new strain of parvo.
My friend doesn't do that. She doesn't transport dogs anymore, but for a while, she'd go to Miami, pick up a whole Ford van full of these things, and she wasn't the only one. They were bringing them in all constantly. And these ladies paid her top. Some of them you take a dog from Miami to California. Back then, they were $600. Now it might be $1,000, $1,200, and there's just a van full of street dogs. Which makes sense. Some of these crazy fur mamas are people that are just goofy. I want to rescue this dog. Well, I don't know. If they're going to just keep letting their dogs get pregnant, and it's never going to end. And there's just like the Humane Society here in the United States. I'm like, in the Netherlands, I've judged a lot of shows in the Netherlands. They don't have a population problem. They don't have all the dogs. They don't have rescue dogs. And it's because their form of Humane Society won't let a dog. If you get a puppy from the pound and you don't come back and get it spayed or it didn't leave spayed, you're in trouble. There's something's going to happen to you. It's 100%. In the United States, you pay your $200, get your Beagle Saint Bernard mix, go home, and if you don't bring it back, you get spaded. Nobody checks on it. Nobody cares. And then that gets bred, that gets bred, and they're all over the place. But I heard that's why they have these CDC guidelines, because they were importing dogs from Puerto Rico and I think maybe the Virgin Islands or somewhere like that.
They fucked it up for everybody, man. It's like it wasn't even worth it either. I mean, 6 months, half a year for a dog, man.
Over the years, I used to export dogs to England, France, all over Europe, Australia, Hawaii, all these places. I quit doing it. Well, now you can't. Now you have to get an importer with Bulldog breeds because they won't let you ship a bull breed on any American owned airlines. But even before then, I quit doing it because it just, I'd take off work, go there, and the stupid person behind the counter would be like, no, you can't, you need to do this, or you need to set up the quarantine. And I'm like, my customer did that. And it's like, no, you have to have the paperwork here. You have to, no, I don't. And then they send me home. So then I come back the next day and I'm like, where is that bitch? She cost me a whole day of work and a lot of frustration. And it used to be, I sent dogs to England. Oh my God, you got to get all these blood work tests and all this crap. And it's like, I finally just said, you know what? It's just too much stress. It's just not worth it. I sent good dogs over there too. If people would come here and get them themselves, then it's not as big of a deal. It's still a pain in the ass, but it's not as bad. I shipped one to this guy in Rome, this wealthy guy, Massimo. We became pretty good friends. I had a dog he was a good dog, except he was cowhocked, and I can't stand that. And he's a big dog, and I didn't want to give him a name, so I call him Big Boy. Come here, Big Boy. Come here, Big Boy, because he was a big puppy. So he asked me, Vito, why are you selling me this dog? He's so nice. I said, because he's a little cowhock in the back. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good breeding dog. He's got everything else going for him. It's just I don't want that for my program at this stage in the game. I don't need to breed that. And so we went to go ship him. I paid a friend of mine to drive to Atlanta, and they said the vet didn't sign the rabies certificate. And I knew that the vet signed it. It's just they're not looking in the right spot or something. and I lost my shit. I don't get mad that easily, but I lost my. We got the dog there somehow, but after that, I'm like, life's just too short to be this pissed off about importing, exporting dogs. So people call. I'm like, if you can arrange everything on your end, maybe I'll consider it. But I don't want to go through the frustration. I'm too
Yeah.
for that.
Let me. This is a comment, guys. I will show comments and questions if they relate to what we're talking about. So everything don't make the board. I've imported some dogs since the 90s. They would never send you a dog better than the dogs they hold on to. You're getting seconds at best. What are y'all thoughts on that? Because I have picked from litters from overseas, and I have shipped champions from overseas.
I mean, it's just like everything. I try to send my best dogs because I don't want a shitty dog to represent me over there. I wanted to do it to make an impact in that country, and I've done it. I've done it with a couple dogs. I sent a breeding pair to this guy in England, and the problem I had was the dogs got there and they're really, really nice puppies. Well, this other breeder that had been in it longer went to the quarantine, got let in, and saw the dogs, and he got jealous. He's just being a hater. So he went to the club and started spreading all kinds of rumors about my dogs. Oh, I can tell that dog's got bad hips. He said, one of the dogs, I can tell you got bad hips. And the female tried to take my finger off. He said all this horrible shit. And the guy that got the dogs, I guess he just wasn't assertive enough. I mean, he spent a lot of money once you go through quarantine. He wasn't assertive enough. And I told him, I said, well, why don't you get the hips checked? Because I guarantee you they're not bad. They're good. And he's like, oh, yeah. He never did. Finally, he sold them to this other guy. And that guy had a totally different attitude. He was the kind of person that, F you, you're not pushing me around. And those dogs produce great shit. He got their hips done. They call it BVA over there. It's like a BVA 7 and a BVA 8. At one time, I think the female was the tightest, best hips for an American Bulldog in that country. So there's all kinds of stuff. I go to the guy in Rome I sent the dog to. He was a good dog, but I wasn't too thrilled about the shit that he was breeding them to, you know. And I thought, oh, God, he's breeding them that garbage stuff. And he produced freaking awesome dogs. He produced good. I had people tell me, why did you send Big Boy over there? You should have kept him. I'm like, yeah, story of my life. But I always try to send the best. You know, I'm not going to send my pick if I wanted to keep. I always keep something out of the litter. I don't do breeding. But I wouldn't, if I didn't have something I thought was truly good, I wouldn't send it.
Right.
So I would answer that too. Now, 80% of what that person said is true. Now, here's the deal. When I buy from overseas breeders, first of all, I have a relationship with these people. I'm not buying dogs from people overseas and I don't know them. I've been referred or I've done business with them for years.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I would say that there's a 50% chance. Most of the time, the breeders are not even going to show the best pup. They're going to keep that one off the internet, right? Because they're keeping that one. But the relationship I have with certain breeders is that they open the books up and they show me which one. And then I pick within 6 to 7 weeks which one I want.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that my platform has doubled their platform.
Mm-hmm.
They know that if anybody knows about Dobermans west of the Mississippi, like who else? I mean, who sold a dog to Steve Harvey's wife, Margie?
Mm-hmm.
Me.
Yeah.
Who sold a Doberman to Callie Muscle? Me. Kevin Hart? Me. Right? So when they know that I'm not just some clown out here,
they ain't gonna play with you.
They ain't gonna fuck with me because I can shut them down or I can pick them up.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Breeders that I deal with, I plug them. I plug everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's enough for everybody to eat. Right? So everybody I bought dogs from in the past 12 years, if they're still breeding and I get another dog from them, I always tag them. And then their shit goes from 600 followers to 2,000 or 3,000 followers. And they get a waiting list because they know that I made all the mistakes so nobody won't have to. I made all the bad mistakes buying bullshit dogs from reputable breeders. I've been burned. I've had a dog, man, that I imported from a reputable breeder, and I was like, "What's this big scar mark in their chest? Like it's parallel, like fucking straight." I'm like, "Wait a minute, not tripping." She said, "Oh yeah, dogs fight all the time." I was like, "Motherfucking puppies ain't fighting where they putting fucking cauterized stuff on their chest." And then I bred the boy a couple times. Like, why are some of these puppies coming out with white spots? Ding, ding, ding. They cut the fucking spot off before they sold the dog to me.
Oh, wow.
Listen, scar tissue is not a fucking straight line when it comes to dogs. It's jagged, right?
Yeah.
And so my thing is, I made all the mistakes. I fucked all the money off with breeders getting dogs. And therefore, if you ask me about a certain line, I'll tell you my honest opinion. And I think that's what we as breeders or stud service providers or dog owners or pet owners, we need to be transparent so people can learn from our mistakes, because if we don't tell them, they're going to continue to make them, and it's going to be a bad experience, man.
That's right, Gerald. And one thing is too is do your homework away from the breeder. Find people who got their dogs. Go look at the dogs. They can tell you about people. You'll be surprised how people will be honest with you when you ask, man, I see you got such a dog. Man, yeah, but I had to get that motherfucker up. That's a excellent way to and like I think that was Jay Diz who made that comment. Yeah, you're right. They won't always give you their best stuff. I was able to land a dog. That dog I just went up to Chicago and got, Gerald, I was telling you about, because I had did enough homework. I knew which female to get the dog off of, and I've been asking this dude for a long time. I want a female off him, and I know he had some, but I wasn't able to get that dog until it got into a fight. It kind of got banged up a little bit, but he recovered the dog, and the dog caught a little damage right here, but I'm not worried about the damage. I'm worried about the genetics, because that's what I want.
Yeah.
So,
and I think, man, really, when you look at the nuts and bolts of it, you got to be an enthusiast of whatever breed you're into, because you always, like my man LA came on, he said it best. He said, man, he don't want to make the mistakes that he made 20 years ago. He tried to improve. And that's my thing. It's like, how do I improve what I have to offer? Because all it takes is one or two people to try to throw some dirt on you, right? And everybody knows Gerald, like, yeah, he's a dickhead. Because I have short patience with bullshit and looky-loo calls, and you want to hold a whole conversation via text message. I don't do all that chatting via two thumbs. Pick up the phone and call me, right? But they know one thing, that I'm going to tell you, my boy is going to be what I said he was or is. Now, can I guarantee anything about the puppy's offspring? Only God can do that, man. Right. But I can make a good percentage of, like, this is what the dog going to be able to do. And again, you got to spend that money with training. That's, people don't want to spend the money. They want to go to Petco, pay $800 for a puppy starter package. That you ain't gonna be able to, and then you want to walk a big ass dog 100 pounds on a harness throughout the whole store. You already going at it wrong. You already going at it wrong. He gonna pull you. Why is he pulling? Well, because that's like somebody about to get in a fight. You ever got in a fight before and somebody grabbed your shirt and said, "Oh, get off of me, let me go." It makes you want to rile up even faster, even harder, right? What do you think the harness? Listen, my boys know when they put their harness on, that's a cape. Other than that, they got the prong or a fur saber. We doing obedience. But when they put their harness on, I can't even put it on fast enough, bro. Like when you saw one of my treadmill, I put the boy on the treadmill, he can't wait to get that harness on, because he know that manual wooden slate treadmill, he about to do what he love to do. Run like the wind.
Yeah. Jordan, what you got, bro? What you think?
As far as importing?
Well, just
yeah, for my breed in particular, Borbles, you gotta know what you want. You gotta know the questions to ask.
But
And
you've been working on your stuff a long time though, Jordan.
yeah,
You ain't
I wouldn't import a dog.
right.
Me personally,
Okay.
I got very distinct dogs that I'm looking for, that I'm using, that I'm particular, that I'm adding. I did have a partner that was interested in bringing in some outside genetics, and the dogs that he looked at all over the world. He was looking for premium stock, and because he's a novice, he doesn't know the language to use, exactly what to add to his program to improve. And the people that he's talking to and corresponding with overseas, they just sending him anything. And because it has the kennel name attached, he feel that it's valuable. I say, bro, no, that's not what we're looking for. We looking for something very distinct. Because of the dogs that you already have, you need to be able to match it up and pair it up, because of the direction that we trying to go. It's about adding to the program, not just bringing in an outside dog. So a lot, I think that what Jay did said was true. They're going, a lot of times they're going to give you the second best, because it doesn't. I mean, a lot of times, we just get in, we impressed by titles. A lot of this with dogs thing is ego. You know, mine is better than yours because it's an import. That's one way to classify value, and that I think it all goes back to that, because we're trying to put one dog over the next world. What makes yours different than mine? And the fact that it's import oftentimes is enough to satisfy that desire of being better, right? So I think that it's a good thing that the the
Or with
CDC,
the champion show dogs and stuff like that, where my dog just got a champion in his line.
same
Way
thing.
yeah, way back.
It's all the same. It's all the
Yeah.
same. It's a way to be like, yeah, this is different. This is special. This is unique. This is exotic. This is
Well, I guess that is. You got to have some kind of,
but it's
you know,
elusive though. It's
because
elusive and it's deceptive, because nine times out of 10, just because you got a champion don't mean your dog represent what is the champion in. You got to be able to establish that in your individual dog. And a lot of times, because of the people is just so unknowing, we just doing things. We've been pacified. A lot of times, we real comfortable with the way that things are. We just be comfortable being told what to do instead of thinking on our own and say, like, well, why is a Doberman a good running dog? Because it has the long legs, it's got the traits, it's got the wind capacity, it's got a long stride. So this is an ideal dog if you're going to be riding bikes or whatever, right? So we should be able to say we got a little Doberman bike riding club, and this is what we do. So yeah, I got a good dog. But now you're able to say truly assess and establish a value. But other than that, we just going for aesthetics. Look at what the dog looks like, and that don't really mean nothing, because that's like being materialistic. It don't really hold no true value. The value comes from your production, your outputs. What are you able to produce? What are you able to accomplish? That is where we able to establish value. And we just got dogs just cool with being dogs, man. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, when you're trying to elevate and do more and do better, you got to have measures.
right.
And that's what
Standards. Yeah. You
yeah,
got
standards. You gotta have ways to compete, ways to not saying that one dog is less than, but it is kind of saying that in so many. We're not trying to put dogs down, but we want to be able to measure and say this is what this dog is contributing to this gene pool, contributing to this breed, contributing to this to society, like you
Right.
said, bro. Because for real, every dog got a job. It ain't around this. It ain't around here just chilling. This ain't no chill spot. We got work to do. Everybody is contributing. If you eating, then you doing I'm with you on that, Gerald and Vito. Yeah, I mean we saying a lot of the same things, and I just feel like let's make sure that at the same time we got a plan to corrective action, a resolution for these issues that we facing, right? Because like your bro was saying earlier, a lot of people have been doing the work here and establishing solid programs with working dogs across different breeds. But the platforms is that for us to showcase and exhibit our dogs is limited. So I think that's a legitimate reason to call for more dog shows and specific styles of dog shows, or just even like little dog clubs or whatever it is that we can do, so we can be able to say, this is what my dog is capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Improve it.
Right. Hey guys, we're gonna take a few questions for the audience because it's getting we're getting a little late. If y'all got questions, drop them in the chat real quick, and we'll knock them out in the next 15 minutes. So I know.
Hey, I got a question for Gerald.
Go ahead, Vito.
He's on Facebook and different places. I see these. I guess they're Russian lined, European lined Dobermans. They show a male that is like, this son of a bitch looks jacked. Like his chest is way down below his. Is that Photoshop or is that real?
You're talking about Hunter.
Yeah.
He's dead. So here's the deal with him.
What the fuck
You
is
have.
What was that?
So here's the deal. He's short, but the angle you see him, it makes him have his chest real sticked out. So yeah, he is thick, but here's the deal. He's got health issues.
Steroids or something.
He's got health issues. He doesn't. He's got puppy titles. And the dog died at a very young age. And the guy who owned that male the name of the dog is called Hunter Vital Screen. Okay, so the owner,
What health issues?
Like von Willebrand's, degenerative cardiomyopathy, diluted myopathy, and those things.
That was the same shit in the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
All Doberman. Yeah. I had a girl I dated for a while. She had a Doberman. She took it for a walk in the woods. It was like 6 years old. And she's calling me on her cell phone crying. I don't know what to do. He fell over dead. I can barely carry him. He's dead. He just was running and fell over dead. And I'm like, oh my God, he had cardiomyopathy. She goes, no, he's never had any problem. He's never had an issue. I said, yeah, they don't have the issue. It's what happens is their heart keeps growing until the chambers are small. And I guess it's a massive heart attack or something, whatever. But that was a big thing.
So yeah, that dog, the guy that owned that dog that you see around all on social media, he was a marketing expert.
I thought it was like Photoshop.
No, he lived Hunter Vital Screen. He marketed the hell out of that dog. And that's how he's one of those breeders. And I rode his ass too because he had a beef with me. And I'm like, wait a minute. Because I tried to buy another dog from a friend that he knew of. And he told the lady, this is years ago, don't sell him a dog. I was like, why is a guy in Turkey giving a fuck about what a dude do in Inglewood, California? I don't even have puppies. Like, why are you fucking with me? It's like, so I went in on him. I said, okay. He put fake titles on the dog. First of all, you know, Vito, you ain't getting no IPO in no 16 months of a dog life. First of all, you can't even compete to the dog 16 months. You got to do tracking. You got to do the dumbbell work. You got to do the obedience. These dogs are usually 2.5, 3 years old by the time they get to that point, right? So I called his ass out on that one. And now, if you notice, you ain't seen no new videos of that dog in 2 years, but he's still promoting like the kennel and the new big red male because he don't want to put it out there that the dog has been dead. So he was jacking with me. He's the breeder. He's one of those breeders that people get all Dr. Bombay on, where he said, I'm gonna charge you $8,000 for the dog, but I picked the dog for you. I'm not giving nobody $8,000. No, you picked me a fucking dog.
Right.
$8,000?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you telling me what I want?
Mm-hmm. You can't get a dime from me if you picking the dog.
No,
and that's your dog.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. Now, wouldn't that breeder know the best dog in that litter?
No,
hell no.
How don't know the best dog for me? Because I got my own distinct tastes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't know what I want. I mean, you can listen. And first of all, the pack leader at 4 weeks may not be the same pack leader at 8 weeks. Right. And it may not be a male, it may be a female. The shit changed. These puppies change.
It'd be doing just like this.
Yeah, so you're not gonna tell me what the fuck is good for me. I'm in Inglewood, dude. Right. I need a killer. I need somebody who's confident. You're gonna do that valuation for me by throwing bottles with rocks in them, and that's gonna nah, bruh. I've seen that show before. At the end, James from Good Times died. You're not gonna tell me something that ain't done before.
Mm-hmm.
So no, man, he gets it, man. He gets people to. He got these slow motion videos, 30-second reels. He's always on a yacht with his shirts off, with the other guys with their shirts off, and he put all these titles in his dog. He walks in slow motion across the street with the dog, but you ain't seen one video of the dog running no blinds, doing any tracking, doing any obedience work, off leash. But he put these fake titles, and I was the motherfucker that called him out.
Mm.
I
I
told
looked
him,
at that dog and thinking, what did they do? How could they get a Doberman to look like that?
man,
I mean, his chest is way below his elbows. He
it's
looks
it's
like
line breeding. So basically, a breeder over there called Pride of Russia. He would breed the male who has that look. Name was Fedor Del Nasi, Fedor Del Nasi. Del Nasi had that muscular look, short muscular look. So he'll breed that dog, and then he'll breed a dog on breed to the daughter of that dog, which is called line breeding. So now you're gonna at some point one of those dogs gonna have that look. And now that dog that has that look is that dog that's going to be used for your stuff because now you bred for that particular genetic look that you're getting. And the dog had health issues. He had DCM 1 and 2, multiple copies. And people in America, man, I got Hunter. You can hashtag it, son of Hunter, daughter of Hunter. Yeah, but where is Hunter now? He's pushing up roots. So
I got a friend who's got she says it's a Russian import Doberman. She had a Doberman she had to put down, an American Doberman. It was like 7 years old. She's a vet, and I've known her for years, and I do work for her. She has these big, giant warm blood horses, and 2 days a week I take her. She conned me into helping her with the horses, but I kind of like it. But she got this red Dobe female that she says is Russian lines and all this. And I mean, I haven't seen Dobermans I like. I like this bitch. Not just she's a big, physical, nice bitch, but her temperament, her attitude reminds me of like what a Doberman should be like. She's not vicious or anything, but she's into everything. And she's like right up my friend's ass. Like my friend's like a 50-some-odd-year-old woman, and this dog, she's like right on her. She stays close to her. And my friend's like, oh, I know she'd protect me. I'm like, I don't know, but I think she'd want to protect you. You know, not like an American Doberman. I don't know. She told me the kennel. I don't remember the name though. And she says she gets dogs but doesn't spay them. And
Let me say
she
something
never
real quick.
ends up breeding.
My cousin had a Doberman, and that was the only dog that I had think that I would like. His name was Black. He was a big, tall, Kimber tall.
yeah, Kimbertall,
Yeah.
out of Pennsylvania.
They call it like a King Doberman. I guess he was saying it's different, right?
Super dope.
No, it ain't
Super
different,
dope.
man.
Yeah, it was a big one though. It was a big one.
I'll tell you about that. So.
The other dog that he had another female named Lady. Them was the only two Dobermans that I like. The only issue that I really have for the Doberman is that they don't have the bigger heads. That's the only thing that
they're never gonna have a head like a Borbal, South.
Yeah, he ain't got no
South
Borbal. I
African
need that dome
They're
on
not
it.
gonna have it. But you know, my Dobies, I specifically make sure that that none of my males have that deer look.
Yeah,
those deer. No, I don't fuck with that. No.
Yeah, you
I
can't
gotta have that
expect that
wide
from
head.
no Doberman. You can't expect it from no Doberman because it's really a police. It's like a police dog. It's more for like tracking, like you said, seeking out blinds, very intelligent, problem solving, and they've been selected as in that fashion. You know, to be able to.
There's a
They're
guy
the only
called
breed of dog that was bred to be truly a personal protection dog. Here, Louis Doberman was a tax collector, dog catcher. He had a Rottweiler kennel and all this stuff. And you wanted a dog that could go with him when he collected taxes. And he took a Rottweiler, a local Shepherd, German Pincer, and who knows what. And then eventually they put Weimaraner in. That's where the Isabella stuff comes from. And those blue Dobermans have had trouble, skin problems forever. And the
Yeah.
Isabellas are even worse. And then they put a Great Dane in, and they put a black Greyhound in. And I can't remember. Like I said, when I was a kid, man, I was a
They,
Doberman nerd.
there,
Yeah.
there,
I,
who's this? Who's this?
That was his life's work, the Doberman
Yeah,
creed.
who is this
And somebody
old
picked it
world
up and
Kenny
continued.
Corso?
Old world kind of Corso. He's an outspoken brother from our world. I'll leave it like that.
Yeah, he said father daughter is called inbreeding. End of story. I thought it was inbreeding is two siblings, two litter mates. That will be called line breeding, father and daughter, or mother and son. Inbreeding is two litter mates born at the same time. You can actually breed a brother and sister as long as they're from different litters. So I think he needs to check his. I'm an expert at this shit, bro. So I'm an outspoken guy too. So
Yeah.
no, that's called line breeding.
So
everybody has a different.
yeah, they have
take on
different. Yeah, they had a different. Everybody got different things on that. But I
To
want
me,
y'all to know,
inbreeding is any time you breed more than, when you look at the pedigree and you add up the percentage of the dogs in it. If there's one dog or another two dogs that are more than 50% of that dog. So if you breed a father to his daughter, the puppies are going to be 75% the father. That's inbreeding.
right?
Actually, when you breed full brother and full sister together, it's never more than 50% the mother and the father, the grandpa and the grandma, the mother and the father. I actually just did a breeding like that. I've never done it because the coefficient of inbreeding is not that high. And I've seen other people do it. I had a dog from a different breeder that did that. And I don't know. I just don't see the I don't know. I don't see the consistency. Right? Whereas if you take a uncle to a niece or any of that stuff, that's inbreeding. Of course, to me, those never work out. That's not a finished product dog, but it's a good dog for genetics for the next generation.
My 2 cents is loosely defined, right? Because inbreeding and line breeding, at the end of the day, it's all ancestral mating. Let's just call it what it is. When you have a breed of dogs that's breeding within the same family, and that's ancestral mating. When you talking about humans, it's incest. And then whether you talk about line breeding, inbreeding, it can mean different from one breeder to the next. But let's just call it what it really is.
But should it mean that? Is it not a correct definition or what? You know what I mean? It shouldn't
No,
be
it's
that.
loosely defined and it's rooted in confusion.
Yeah, I don't think so, bro. I think it's some. We've covered a lot of breeding topics on
So it's incest. It's all incest.
Okay.
Incest is best. All purebred dogs are inbred, or
Yeah,
some form of inbreeding.
and
If you go and figure their stuff out more than 15, 20 generations, you'd be a little shocked at
right.
how shallow the gene can be.
And with
Right.
that being said, like he's covered this subject on this channel. Vito, we might need to go back in, and while it's on my mind, Alexander Gunther. Gunther. I just dropped part 2. Well, we just finished it, but part 2 of what y'all talking about right now.
I listened to those. I really like that guy.
Yeah,
I went back and listened to some of his other stuff too.
Right. So Wednesday part 2 would drop. Saturday part 3 would drop on all this stuff y'all talking about right now. And I'm just doing this rise on my head. We need to get Gerald back on raw dog feeding because he talks about that too, and Jordan knows that stuff too. So yeah. Somebody they was pushing back a little bit on you guys. This is Integrity Board. Was this dude here got some killers? He sent me some video. I was like, "Oh God, I'm having nightmares."
That's big bro right there, Mr. Price, Robert Price.
You might want to read
check him out.
When puppy buyers complete my IBK puppy application, they answer questions. They tell me what they're looking for in a pup. That's why I kind of like asked because like I had a puppy. You can look at my shorts. And I had a one that was barking all in my son's face, right? I know his mama. I seen that shit before. I didn't sell him. Vicente bought that dog. I didn't sell him to anybody. I said, no, this puppy can't go to no no average person because it's too high drive. That's why I was asking y'all about. Do you think the breeder would know which puppy is probably best for a person, not you per se, because you got to think about you looking at it as a breeder,
Right.
but we have to look at it as going to homes too. What do you think about that, Gerald?
And which part though?
Do you think when it comes to a paying customer, a pet home, is it best for you to pick their dog? Like if you know a dog was, you might think it's a bit too much. Would you step in front of that?
No, I mean I would voice my professional opinion, but at the end of the day, who's taking care of the puppy? Who's paying for the vet bill? Who's paying? Who's paying for the
Right.
aftercare? Who's cleaning up dog shit? Who's cleaning up the accidents in the house? I'm not fucking doing it, right?
Right.
So who knows? This dog may change that person's lifestyle in regards to what they used to do versus what they must do now with this new dog. So to me as a breeder, however you want to call it, as long as you are always transparent, they can never fuck with you. And like my man who got this thesis of an application which covers your ass and everything about it, then there can't be no mistakes made or very minimum saying, well, you knew what you got and you said you wanted them for this. But then the dog ended up being because it's really all about the upbringing and the training of the dog at the end of the day. You can make a Chihuahua vicious, man.
Yep. The behavior that you encourage.
Yeah.
And the customer can ruin your dog and try to blame you.
Yeah, yeah. And see, and at the end of the day, I feel like it's my job to make a professional recommendation, like bro just said. And then at the end of the day, guess what? You can't tell a person how to spend their money and what they can and cannot buy. Now, what I can do is opt to not sell you a dog if I feel like you're not qualified. But I'm gonna make my professional recommendation. I'm gonna say, listen, I think that this dog might be too much for you. I think you should go with this dog. But I mean, I'm gonna trust you. I'm here to help you because you do have an obligation. I got first right to possession. If you decide to sell my dog, or that you can't keep the dog, I got a right to possession. You're supposed to contact me legitimate. I mean, legally, and say, hey, Jordan, I can't keep this dog. And I got a right to refuse the dog or whatever. But I mean, I think that when I'm picking my dog, I don't want you to pick my dog for me because I know what I'm looking for. It's specific, very specific, and I don't want to deny that right to my client. I feel like I don't know your life as better as you do, and it's only you can make a best decision for you. I feel like because that's what's gonna make you happy is your decision. I want you to be happy with the decision that you made. Not upset with me because this didn't go right because you feel like I picked the wrong dog for you.
Good point. I can live with shit I've done. I keep seeing you, Dan. I think you addressing Gerald here. So just get at him. He's asking for some guidance on some things, on some dogs or whatnot.
Okay.
I think that's for you. Yeah.
What was the question?
I'm not sure. I just keep him saying he wants some guidance on some Dobermans, I believe. I just seen him going through.
I would say, talk to your local breeders, go there and visit. Ask what they're breeding, what the purpose of their breeding, what they're trying to be known for. Are they trying to be known for conformation or just great docile pets? I mean, those are the questions like, what's the parent size, which really don't really matter. But if you live in an apartment and your dog's going to be 80, 90 pounds, you won't be able to take him out, but just to walk him, he going to gain weight. He's going to develop health issues. Feeding grown dogs twice a day that don't fucking do any active activity, you're going to get a Coke can dog. You know what I'm saying? And that becomes.
I like when you say that, the Coca can.
Coke can. Yeah, Coke
you
can
said that a couple of times. Right, that ain't how a dog's supposed to look.
No, I got to see the last two ribs, dog. I got to see a V shape.
I need to see that tuck. I want that V cut. I like when you said that too. V cut. Give me that V cut.
Give me that V.
I don't care what kind of dog it is. It could be a poodle. I want to see that V cut.
That's right.
Yeah,
I call it out. I don't want no web feet, none of that duck shit feet, none of that. There's certain things that I won't lower my standards to certain things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I live by those. Like if I preach it, I'm living it. Right,
for sure. Yeah.
So that's why I said for me, I feed my grown dogs if they're not working or breeding once a day, 5 o'clock. Right now, the puppies, because they're developing, I feed them twice a day. You know what I'm saying? And I give them the best shit too, man. I mean, because these dogs only grow one time. You don't get a second chance at the dogs. Well, let me start this over again. Reverse the clock. No, they get one opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
Give them all the goddamn nutrition you want. Some of the best nutrition we got as a kid. Well, I don't know about us, but some of the best nutrition that the kids or babies are getting right now, like human babies, are mother's breast milk. The
Breast
best.
milk can't beat
The
it. Breast
best.
milk is the best milk. I say that all the time. Hey,
Boom.
listen, I do once every other day, believe it or not, and it might sound cruel, right? But I feel like we just eat too much.
Yeah,
And I
you
feed
know
my
what? And I think that will work. And it depends on how many pounds of food you're giving them in that one serving.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yep. I like my dog a hungry dog. I want that dog alerted on point. I want him jumping around, looking around, like, hey, what I gotta do to get some chow around here?
Yeah. And man, I gotta give freaking Jordan kudos for showing me how to feed raw for $7 and can afford. It's actually cheaper. Where I ain't gonna talk about it online, but God dog, boy.
Yeah,
Flies, all them flies I don't deal with no more. None of that crap, man.
yeah, make a
And when you feed raw, man, their poops is regular. You know what I'm saying? Like with dry kibble, they shitting within an hour, man.
Right.
But that raw meat, man, it takes a while for their body to digest that shit, and their body's absorbing all that nutrition.
Yeah.
And then, especially when I get my boys their raw chicken, the raw hindquarters, oh, they pooping like nuggets. And then if you don't pick it up, it's calcifies.
Yeah.
Turns to dust.
Yeah.
So
clean up easier. You know, because I don't feed mine every day, but clean up so much easier. Me and Gerald offline, we was talking about Country Mountain Mastiffs. Y'all need to check dude out, boy.
Yeah,
get him on, Gerald. Get him on.
We got to get him on, man.
Yeah.
Somebody got to help him with the damn internet out there. He's out there in the mountains in New York, man, upstate New York, man.
Oh man, yeah.
Listen, he's thinking differently, you know, but it's working. And his dogs are 250 pounds.
And he feed what, once a week or every 6 days?
Once every 5 days. The grown dogs.
Yeah.
We eat
no shit, man.
We eat. I believe it. I believe it. A wolf can go 7 days without. That's regular for a wolf to go without eating 6-7 days in between meals, in between praise.
Jordan, what you got on with that raw? What you got to do? I see you making some raw dog food like you was in the trap house.
Right. That's how we man. We just working the best with what we got. Yeah. And I grind that up for my dogs because I feel like, you know, it's one of the favorite things that you can do with the dog is, you know, feeding them. Everybody, you know, what you're putting into the dog. And then if you're really observative, if you're really watching your dogs, you can see the differences off of what you feed. If you're observative of the poop and you're looking and paying attention to all these different things. And it's one of the ways that I show love to my dogs. I know that they like to eat.
Chicken breasts are nice.
Man, one of the most rewarding things, man, it feels like it feels almost as good as a massage, man. It's feeding your animals. I'm not fucking bullshit, man. I love feeding them. I mean, is it me? I mean,
yeah, bro. No, you ain't the only one. Everybody like that,
man. I love when boom. I love it, man. It's like, man, I'm giving them exactly what they want, and I'm giving it to them, and they're treating it as if it's the last supper, and they appreciate me for giving it to them.
Yes, that's the other thing too. The dog appreciates it so much.
Yeah,
the dog's like, man, he looking at you like you're the hero. You got,
oh my God, yeah,
you got the keys to the city, and everything revolves around you. And I love it, man. Yeah, I done went all in for mine. Yep. Yeah.
Sometimes I stand there and watch and make sure they clean all the bowl out, man.
Yeah.
I videotaped them eating chicken. Like I put it on Instagram, like, yo, it's him eating that raw chicken, man. And I love these gigabyte gangsters. Oh, you're feeding them raw. You're inhumane. Oh my God. I'm like, dude, you know that these are carnivores by nature. We made them herbivores, man. I'm like, you listen, you feed your dog kibble, he gonna look like kibble.
Yeah. And then like you know what's so crazy to me? I could see it in a dog's coat. It's like dry when you versus that raw fed dog, he got that sheen to him. Look like they got that activator in his coat. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like he been sprayed with a hairspray, and it
yeah,
just got that beam to him, that glow. You know,
yeah,
I
man.
just love it, man. I won't do it no other way. I
Now
know
I
what
do kibble too now.
Yeah,
I ain't
yeah,
gonna
I'm
say,
gonna
yeah.
say kibble. They got some good kibble to have your dog looking good
Well,
too.
I do kibble
Yeah.
for
I ain't
primary
gonna say
reasons.
that. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Let me see, because I do use the Yukonuma. I swear by that also.
Mhm.
I do
Yeah.
kibble because sometimes when I'm gone, these people who come feed my dog, they're not gonna be preparing the food like I do, man.
No,
They gotta give them kibble. Just fuck it, get it over with. You know what I'm
right.
saying? They're gonna live, they're gonna survive, but
Yeah.
I don't want my dog to be like, I ain't eating nothing but raw chicken and raw tripe. No, you're gonna
No.
be able to eat all this shit.
All right, you gonna
You
feed
know what
eat
I'm saying?
whatever I feed you.
And
If
I'm
you
like,
hungry enough, you
yeah.
gonna eat. If you hungry.
I be getting calls like, man, I try to introduce him to raw meat and mix it with the kibble, and I put the bowl down there, and he didn't eat it. I said, you know what? Give him 15 minutes to eat it. If you don't eat that shit, pick it up, and he won't eat till the next day. I said,
Right.
dogs will not starve themselves unless them motherfuckers sick. Am I right?
Right.
They eat their
Yeah.
own shit before they starve.
Try again tomorrow.
Yeah,
Pick
we'll
it up.
try to get him tomorrow. Oh my God. I said, yeah, try to get him. I said, I promise you, he gonna eat it the next time it come around.
You gonna eat,
Yeah.
you gonna be looking around like,
Mhm.
oh, this is what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
And if you got to compete for it, he gonna start eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That's
So,
why I love to have a puppies too, especially like they get over 12 weeks old. Then they can skip a day. And then I'm talking about that sound like a pack of dogs out there, rah, 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 and shaking up, and like neighbors like, what man, what you got going on over there? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want my dogs like that
This
though,
has been a good one right here, man. We can do this another hour, man. Shit.
yeah.
all
yeah.
day.
My ass
I-
gotta go to work.
I go to tomorrow. I go into the next. We could go all night. That's what we need to do this one day, all day.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, for
Bring
sure.
me on.
When y'all
Yeah,
ready,
yeah.
let me know. I'm
I
ready.
know it's gonna be big energy. I already knew it was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Vito, man, we sure appreciate you coming back. You know, you always
Hey, I
use a
enjoyed it,
regular
guys.
guest.
It was
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
Definitely, man. It's an
Yeah.
honor to be here with you.
yeah. Vito got a lot of knowledge. How many generations of dogs you bred, Vito?
I think I'm at like 14, maybe, with a couple
14
of
generations.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to dive in deep with you. I want to dive in deep with you on that. You know, get
Yeah.
into genetics, the selection, the way that you're picking and
Yeah.
choosing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
hurry up because I'm starting to lose my memory.
Yeah.
I've come across a picture. I'm like, oh shit, I remember that dog.
yeah,
So
it's overflowing with dogs, man. It's a lot to remember when you talk about
Yeah.
14 generation.
Right. Well, we appreciate you giving it up because like Facebook is hell. I be seeing new breeders like catching hell, asking questions. But you know what I'm saying? It's important, like guys like you will come out and share your information. Like in the Corso world, Jordan, you done dealt with it. It's hell to get information online from them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but good thing
Yeah.
that we got these podcasts going, and
Right.
especially the new guys. I think about them often because when I was a beginner, I didn't have these resources, so I want to be somebody.
Mhm. You can at least get to a good start now.
Yeah.
You know,
That's that one up syndrome, man. I tell you,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's we got so much infighting in every breed, but of course we're a little bit different, man. It's like shit, you know.
I get the opposite. People in my breed, these young guys are like, I've had people call me and I can tell they're like, oh shit, this guy wants to I gotta get off the phone. They don't want to hear a lot of the shit I have to say. What they want to hear is, oh, that dog you got is awesome. Oh, the great grandfather was awesome. Or, oh man, you're thinking right. You're doing the right thing. Which I don't try to discourage anybody, but they don't want to hear. I just had a guy on Facebook. I rarely post too much stuff, but the guy had a dog, nice looking dog, and I know I follow the guy. He's one of my Facebook friends, so I never reached out and said anything. I said, "Oh man, that's a nice dog." So I started giving him some information about that style of dog and the history and the breed. And then this other joker, this guy, I guess he wants respect or something. I don't know. He's been in the breed a while, but he had never done anything. He comes on there and goes, Vito, Vito has successfully hijacked another post. I'm like, what the fuck? The guy whose post it was, he don't care. And
Yeah.
I wasn't like just talking nonsense. I was posting things I know about the breed history, and it pertained to his dogs. So we get that kind of stuff. They
Oh
don't want
yeah.
to hear
Breed
nothing.
history. Oh my God. It's almost like a waste of time, bro. Yeah.
I
Gerald.
read it and just started laughing. I thought, Vito has hijacked another post.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? What is wrong with you?
Yeah. Gerald, we appreciate you coming, brother. It's been awesome. And
Most
y'all go over
definitely.
there to All World Doberman. This guy here is very impressive, man. I hadn't even got to a lot of his content, but it's some really good stuff over there, professionally done. And he's showing improving. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I need to learn from you guys.
Mad respect to both of y'all.
Appreciate it.
I'm social media backwards.
One
Matter
thing
of fact,
about it, Vito. One thing about it, Vito. A reputable, long-term breeder such as you don't really need to do social media much. You got your name. You got your brand. They know what comes from you. So trust me.
I about a year or so ago, I kept getting. I made a reels thing. I just took a bunch of hog catching photos of my dogs and put Mission Impossible music to it, on reels. And I hit it. It got like 3,000 views or something. And they kept sending me a thing that said, "Hey, your video got so many views. Make another one. Make another one." So about 6 or 8 months later, I made another one. They encouraged me again. I made another one. And then all of a sudden, Reels said you have violated our standards. So I couldn't get on Facebook and I couldn't get on Reels. And I still can't. I had to make a new Facebook account, but I can't do Messenger, nothing. And no matter how many times I try to get a hold of them, they don't answer back. I don't know what I did. I don't know if it was pictures of dead hogs, with the dogs or something. I don't know. I have no clue, but you can't even get a hold of them. I can't. There's no number to call. When I send them a
Facebook?
message,
You talking about Facebook?
yeah, the Reels. What is that called? Instagram.
Instagram, yeah.
Instagram Reels.
You got to go through
I'm
that.
blackballed. I can never get back on.
Oh wow.
I can't use my Facebook Messenger. I used to communicate with people all over the world with that. Now I can't do it.
Your favorite barber wants to ask, we not fans of the boxer. Any fans of the boxer? I'm in love of all dogs that can work and got a purpose and they can do what they're supposed to do and can stand up and hold their own. The boxer just don't. I mean, it's a cool dog breed. Don't get me wrong, but it just don't compare to like a Borbo.
Corso people, are y'all fans of the boxer? That's an inside joke.
Yeah, my one friend.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check
the
out
the hyper Corso.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hey, Jordan, you want to close the show?
Hey, listen, y'all. Mad respect for you guys, your brothers coming on. Really appreciate everyone that joined, that left a comment in the chat, that spent some time. I hope that it was a valuable for you experience also, that you learned something. If you don't, we got resources here for you. Check out all Doberman channel, All World Doberman Club, Vito Alu, Braveheart, American Bulldogs, and of course NWA Connie Corsos. If you didn't know, that was the place to be for all of the hottest podcasts at all breeds. You know me, I feel like the Borbal is the best dog breed on earth. That's just my personal opinion.
Borbal baby.
My boy buddies, you know where to find me on Exotic Borbal TV. But at the end of the day, this is a platform that we come to exchange information and knowledge, to arm the public, the individual. This is a place for us to sharpen up and really just get a better understanding of the dogs in general. So it goes across all different breeds. It's not just about any one individual breed, because we are dog lovers. At the end of the day, I can say, I feel like I speak for us all when we say that. I mean, because you can't be involved with the dogs the way that we are, to the level that it is, without really having a genuine love for the dogs. And that's where I think that this, the beauty of this podcast, the thing that we're doing, it comes from a place of love, and it brings us all together. And with that being said, I hope that y'all picked up some valuable information, something that was entertaining, if nothing else. For next time, you know where to find us. We're gonna be here, and I hope that y'all staying busy with your dogs. If nothing else, if you don't know nothing else, we advocates for busy and doing things with your dogs. You know, I appreciate y'all, and I just want to say I'm very humbled to be here. This is I'm gonna continue to try to strive and do better and learn more, so that my place is validated. I guess I done ran out of words. Go ahead, bro.
All right, man. Hey, I ain't got nothing else to say, guys. We'll see y'all next time.
All right, guys. It was fun.
Peace.
Take it easy.
Much love, y'all. Thank you.